On a long distance, when you shoot battleships, you are not going to penetrate them. You will be still penetrating cruisers. You will not be maybe over penetrating sometimes cruisers, but this just means that if you have a usually they are if you have the British ships like King George, which has lower main gun caliber 356. Nelson is having a big caliber gun. Conqueror is having big caliber rounds. So you it's like shooting Iowa guns with Conqueror. It still a hit. Yet this will be concerning to not use on King George on a long range. It's just eliminating few ships of your British to not play. It's still on the other mainly favorite ships like is Nelson and that new thing Rodney and Conqueror. Yes, it's fun. It's definitely good. It's better than the new one, the common one. It adds this more damage experience, and it gives you heals. What is this thing doing? Eh, maybe you will feel like you're tankier more, but you have super heals, so you will not notice this difference. If you're a super heal, like yeah, okay, I'm taking damage, and then I will super heal it back. So this is not noticeable experience. Everybody knows that Dunkirk's only reason to have it. You have again more heals, but you will have this like 95% reload. So if you feel like that you have to switch from AP to HE because there's a destroyer coming, and you wanna slap the destroyer, you can with the Dunkirk. The same time, like if you're having HE and suddenly broadside battleship, you're like, oh, you switch to AP, 95% of the time is reduced, and you're like, wow, I am opportunistic in French battleship. I can slap broadside citadels or slap the destroyers with HE because of this perk. This thing, well, how many times are you letting the flooding to continue getting your ship? Or how many times has it happened that you are flooding and you are waiting for damage con? I'll skip those. Or not. Scharnhorst. So it's another brawler of the Germans. Here you have an option to not use shell grouping and dispersion, which is kind of... Why would you do that? That's the whole point of experiencing a German battleship. And you put torpedo speed and range. Yeah, Scharnhorst has the torpedoes. So maybe you can use it for Brawler, this commander, or Arena, when you have 101 and the torpedoes do make a huge difference. And this thing, main battery dispersion. Dispersion is for shooting bows. Again, when you have a Scharnhorst, you will be facing tier 5 and tier 6 cruisers. Yes, they have a pretty bad bows, and like the new Spanish, very bad bows. So you can citadel from bow with this because you have dispersion. 4% is good, more better. This thing, which looks typically Russian. Detectability of battleship is good when you want to be sneaky battleship and you don't want to be spotted by the other battleship. Consider the fact that you will be spotted by cruisers or destroyers. If you are not spotted by cruisers or destroyers, which is less than 50% of the time, sometimes you can be like, oh, now is the time to use my detectability and sneak behind some islet closer. Okay? And of course, Ricochet engulf the battleship AP shield. The thing about Ricochet, Bortas and Edinburgh is the example, and the new commander for Utnapishtim ship, and the Azur and Cheshire, who are about this Ricochet. If you can overpen in battleship, which is every cruiser and every destroyer, you don't need Ricochet, but you will overpen them. You will be shooting the bow. You don't need to be concerned about Ricochet because you'll be shooting bow. Imagine the bow doesn't exist. That's the overmatch. So you're not concerned about Ricochet. So Ricochet, if you get like if you focus on a Ricochet and you will use the Utnapishtim, you can get 8% down. And if you think about it, if a 45-degree ship towards you, 60 degree means that it will go a little bit more bow to you. 90 degree is straight bow looking at you. So 8% means that that ship that is suddenly starting bow taking from those 45%, you will still hit it, which is like less than half seconds of the chance. So you will not spot the difference even if you try. What if the destroyer or cruiser is having fast rudder shift? And how long does it take for the shells from 10 kilometers and higher to land on the ship that you are shooting at? So the amount of time that you are getting of the turning ship towards you by these 8%, 8 degrees, is not noticeable. It works. You can notice when you focus on that. But it's not something that's like, oh, I have an advantage having it rather than not having it. And I can see the noticeable thing, it brings me value. It doesn't. Of course, this is fun, like reload time for a brawler. This is kind of like, I'm going to spend money to get this because they want me to buy this for the money. I wouldn't say so. It's really for somebody who has this negative determination of experience that he's bouncing shells, and it's like, I don't know, through some kind of therapeutical following experience wants to like deal with that, so gets this this ricochet commander. Yeah, Zera. Of course, Sap show damage is like Sap slaps. You wanna slap more, you get this, and even more damage. So like, it's a good commander. It has a range, which is important. It has a speed because Italian cruisers are fast, so even more faster. So it enhances the experience here. Shell grouping and aspersion important, so you hit with your cruiser doors other cruisers and destroyers bow tanking. Here more smoke. Here even more reload if you are with somebody else. Good commander, definitely. If you like, you have to buy it. It's making everything better. Now this thing is giving you charges. It's a sniper, dispersion, and this. And here is another shell grouping, which is 8%. 8% is almost a sigma. No, it is a sigma. It is making your German battleship, which is usually 1.95 on Bismarck, it will make it accurate. You will be hitting 2 citadels on broadside battleships with this. You will not have a heal, which is the same thing like a Colorado. This is even better than Colorado because it has 8. Colorado's 3.5. But American battleships are having 1.8. Bismarck is a 1.95. Tirpitz is a 1.95. So it's more accurate than an American battleship in terms of hitting the citadels. And also there is this thing about triple barrel guns and double barrel guns. The double barrel guns are not hitting all the time on a target. In a triple barrel it does, because 2 of those shells will go wherever, and the 3rd shell will be precise. So yeah, it's if you have a German battleship that's having 3 guns barrel and 1.8 sigma, unfortunately Pommern is having like 1.6. Yeah. But if there is a German battleship coming with 3 barrels and better sigma, how much is Großer Kurfürst? Maybe you put this on, you will have the most accurate ship in a game. So most of the German battleships are not. You will be having somewhat better experience with hitting the broadside citadels on the ship, not having heals, so it's like a Colorado for Germans. I mean, if you want to shoot and go for it, do you care about detectability? Detectability is good at the beginning when you take positions and you don't want other people to see you and spot you and shoot at you right away. You want to get to the position, so you're getting detectability down for that. 3% AP shell damage will not be noticed. Littorio! Flooding is limited, like you have a certain amount of portion of the citadel that can be healed. This is about time, 10% more time. If you have 20 seconds, you will have 22 seconds, yeah. Here, it doesn't have any heal, and you will get flooding damage 8%. Usually you are making sure that you use damage con 8%. So like let's say that you don't have damage con, you're flooding for 10 seconds. How much damage you're going to get? Minus 8%. This doesn't add any more experience. It's just accuracy. There already is free accuracy commander. If you like her voice and you don't mind about having a heal, there is no enhanced experience of this. No. Azuma, range good, or AG good. AG fire, so this is obviously for if you want to start fires. And Azuma ship slapped a lot. Another accuracy. So what does it do, this thing? More AP penetration multiplier. You know, thing about the AP is that we can't really... If we had an AI assistant that is with me on the screen, it tells me if I can penetrate something or not. With this AP multipliers, you would be able to really see that, oh, I just reached the distance where I can citadel battleship. And with this, you would be like, if you put everything into the AP multiplier, which means in inspirations too, you would be like, oh wow, I can penetrate Iowa from 13 kilometers instead of 10. And you will be thinking, how many times do I have a position opportunity where I shoot broadside battleship from 13 kilometers? The design of the maps with the island's position is it happening 50% of the times, every single time I play a game? And if the answer is yes, that there is a lot of opportunities, then you can spec it into the AP. But we don't know. I don't know. I don't have the aim assistant make calculations in my head every 20 seconds to see if I have a penetration in a green numbers, because on the cruisers it won't matter. The overmatch value excludes. This is kind of the borderline disorder of the, or schizophrenic, let's say, part. Simple. I'm not saying schizophrenic part of the game, that you have big guns and you feel like, oh, I can overmatch it, right? But then you're like, oh wow, hold on. There is the overmatch rule, which will discard the big guns. Penetration value. So you have a penetration value which is high, but your gun size is not matching the overmatch value. Therefore, it doesn't matter. The overmatch value will negotiate the penetration value of a guns. Two different qualities. One negotiate, the other schizophrenic. Yeah, that's what it is. I don't play guerrillas. Not interested. Yukikaze. I was thinking about it and buying this. This is a fun one. This is awesome. Akizuki has very improved AA stock, and you can put the AA mode, which improves it 25%. Now with the improved AA mode, it's even more. Then you put this on, which is was improved few updates back 15% more. It's turning the Akizuki into anti-AA powerhouse. It does. This commander, and there's even 20% more here. Now, the thing about it, that only ships on Japanese that you will use this is Akizuki, is improved AA, Kitakaze, then Haragumo when it comes, and Mutsuki. These are only Japanese ships where AA, or also Akatsuki also, where AA matters. Now, if you are Akatsuki, you want to spec into torpedoes, no AA.